So crème caramel is pretty straightforward. So it's basically an association of hot milk combined with a little vanilla for a flavoring. You can change the flavoring if you like. Eggs, whole eggs. And I just did quite a lot the quantities. So I think this recipe is close to the real thing, using local ingredients. Sugar, and of course a lot of caramel. And because milk is not as rich here than in France, I'm doing a combination of heavy whipping cream and milk. So the proportion is 1/4 heavy whipping for, 1 part heavy whipping for 3 parts regular milk. And so the total recipe, if you want to yield the 6 cups, would be 4 cups of milk. I'm going to do 2 cups. I'm going to do 3/2 cups of milk and 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. 1, and you can see here on counter camera what I'm doing. 2, and 3 here. And then I'm going to add my cream. Oh, not open. And so 1 more 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. And this really makes it much, much better in terms of taste. You will see when you taste it. So in that milk, I'm going to put my vanilla. So vanilla extract, you're going to put 1 tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon of vanilla here inside. And we are going to boil this. Wait, now we're going to start working on the eggs. So the whole recipe calls for 8 eggs. That's a lot of eggs, but it is quite important to use the whole quantity. So don't cut corners here. I'm going to use 4 eggs because I'm doing half the recipe. So I'm using them whole. So my 4 eggs go here in my bowl. 3 and 4. That's it. And I'm going to whisk them with some sugar. So I'm going to get started whisking them. So you can see that on counter. And I'm going to add the sugar in here. So the sugar is going to be 4 ounces of sugar. So for half the quantity, it will be 2 ounces. So now for my eggs, so 1, 2. So 2 ounces would be like 1/3 of a cup. 1/3 of a cup. This goes in my eggs, and I'm going to whisk that really well now. And that's it. For the milk, you want it simmering. You don't want it boiling. So keep an eye on it. It goes quite fast. At the same time, we're going to use that remainder of sugar. 1/3 of a cup being 2 ounces. I want 2/3. And you want 4/3. So 1 1/3. So that's it. Here is my caramel. And I'm going to get my milk from the stove at this point. And you will need to use your 2 hands here. One with the whisking, and the other one pouring the milk. So look at counter camera. And here I'm going to And so you want to whisk at the same time so you don't end up with scrambled eggs. I see the bowl of a KitchenAid. You could do it with a KitchenAid, but there is a backside to it, which is the KitchenAid is going to incorporate more air in your eggs, and your batter is going to bubble. So it's, I would say it's easy, so it's better to do it by hand. So this is it. That's it. So my batter is ready. In here, I have milk, sugar, vanilla, an egg. That's it. Now let's work on the caramel. So the caramel, I have my sugar here. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon, sorry, here on counter camera. You should see it, a little white thing with, there is 1 tablespoon of water in it. And we're going to get a little lemon juice. So, and the lemon juice is actually useful because it helps preventing crystallization. So I'll move this away so you can see better. Here on counter, I have a little strainer because those little lemons are cute, but they are full of seeds. So I'm going to juice this. And that will be just enough lemon to prevent my caramel from crystallizing. Don't put too much because it gives a bitter taste to the sugar. So here, this goes in my, and I'm just shaking it, and I'm going to put this on the burner on medium heat and just wait. The caramel is getting ready. I'm going to preheat my oven and prepare my bain-marie. So the crème caramel, to cook it, you need to use a bain-marie. A bain-marie, it's receptacle of water that you put in the oven, and in it you put whatever you want to cook. So it creates some sort of indirect heat. So here I have my ramekins, and I'm going to pour enough water to get to half the level of my ramekin. I'm going to butter the sides, not the bottom, the sides of my ramekin. So just a little butter on the side, and this is going to help us get it out of the pan later. And in the bottom will be the caramel. So when you pick your container, the container you will use, please make sure to have something that stands the oven, of course, but stands the heat. So some glass containers, for example, are a little too fragile, and when you're going to pour the hot caramel in it, they might burst. So choose wisely. Here, I'm going to pour my caramel. If you look at the camera, I'm going to pour it in my ramekins.
Mm-hmm.
And you just want to cover the bottom. Everything is ready. I'm going to pour my batter on top of my caramel evenly, more or less. Here and here. Okay. Yes, this is it. And I'm going to get my warm water here. So I'm going to pour the water here. Look at counter camera. until it reaches half the level of the pan. That's about, in my case, that's about half an inch. And the remainder of the water goes in my caramel saucepan, so it's easier to clean later. Okay, so we're all done. So I'm going to put this bain-marie with my creams inside in the oven.
What temperature?
320. And I'm going for the middle rack. And this is it. Awesome. So of course, I made some yesterday, so I can show you the final result. So now this is on counter camera. You can see the final result. So my cream is done. And so it has a nice color. If I touch the top, it's kind of springy. So it's firm, but it doesn't feel hard. It's just firm, okay? And I'm going to remove it. And you would do the same thing with a bigger pan. So it's nice to use a serving plate with higher edges because the caramel is going to melt a little and pour. So because the caramel here is set, there is a trick I'm going to teach you. So I have here a hand towel, a simple hand towel. I'm going to wet it, not completely, just make it damp. And I'm going to heat it in the microwave 10 seconds. And then it's going to make a nice little, source of warmth under my pan. You could put the bottom of the pan in some boiling water, but it's very messy because then when you turn the caramel, crème caramel in the pan, there is always dripping of water. It's very appetizing. So I just do this. So a little water here. So you see it's not dripping, it's just feeling wet, but it's not dripping. And I'm going to heat that 10 seconds in my microwave. Here is my warm towel. So I'm putting on counter camera, I'm putting my ramekin on top of the warm towel. And I have here a paring knife. I have different kind of paring knives. The pink one has a small blade, but given the size of my pan, actually it could work, but I prefer this one because the blade is nicer and it allows me to go around my crème caramel more easily. So so make sure to push the blade against the side so you don't cut in the cream. Just separate it from the sides. Okay. And I'm going to put my plate on top. And on counter camera, I'm going to turn everything around with my hot thing on top. And this is it.
Beautiful.
Yes. So this will be yours. Thank you. So
Beautiful.
I hope you